Ladies, go ahead and take it away.
Hello, hello. Brenda Bowers, Pioneer Title Senior Account Executive. We have our wonderful Gary doing our class today, and Samantha's going to be so surprised that next week's class is going to be YouTube strategies, but video, and how to best place them. And I know that will be a full class because videos are very challenging, at least for me. And this is the first time, this is how hard it is to train Brenda, that she remembered to have the topic ready for Samantha. All right, well, take it away, Paige Draper.
Good afternoon, Paige Draper, Pioneer Title Senior Account Executive, right along with Brenda Bowers and Samantha Williams. Looking forward to today's topic about writing a mission statement, because I think it's important that we get a description about what we're all about and what drives us. And I'm very much looking forward to this topic. It's something that I have not yet done for myself as an individual. And I think it's important. I've done a bio, but I've not done a personal mission statement. So I'm thinking this is going to be quite an asset for me personally. And for anyone that wants to watch the re-recording, please be sure to request to follow Samantha's private Facebook page so you can have access to our other classes. And then we'll have a link for Gary's as well. And we'll be following up with you after the class. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Yes, me too. I'm actually working on my bio tomorrow with somebody, and then the mission statement would go hand in hand. So I'm definitely looking forward to it. So that it seems like those are two things that you should do at the same time, or, you know, you can go together. So I'm definitely looking forward to hearing this, and I will definitely be watching the recording. Hopefully this is one that I could get done within the next week, and report back next week when we learn on YouTube videos that I've got my bio and my mission statement done. So thank you very much, Gary, for everything that you do for us and for the real estate community. A huge valuable asset. If anyone needs his services one-on-one, please feel free to reach out to any of us. He's happy to sit with you one-on-one to go through any of the topics that he's taught. Remember, what I always tell everyone is that they make sure that they watch the recording on the social media platform that they'd like help on, and then go to Gary. So at least you've got some background and maybe you can get things started, so you're not going to him with absolutely nothing. But he is absolutely there to help you and more than willing to do so. So please reach out if you have any questions. And it looks like that is it. Okay. Thank you, Gary.
Great. Thank you, guys. Once again, thank you, Pioneer, for taking the lead and sponsoring these. And it's always fun for me it forces me to sort of keep up with I've been doing webinars since, I've been doing training classes since about 2009. So it forces me to go through and go, well, you know, that's not where it used to be, or that's changed. How do I, you know, what should I be doing now? And so, and this webinar is one that I've done in the past, but I did update it because there are some things that are happening now with the way we're doing business. And I'll talk about a couple of those as we go along. And I'm going to tease you with a topic that we were looking at possibly for the future. And that is integrating your content and the things that you create and your business listing into voice search. So that little thing you carry around and ask it how it's, what time it is, or what the temperature outside, or how to find directions to, well, that's going to be something we're looking at. But the content you create fits into that. And so as I start off, really, I think about the terms of, you know, I see people all the time come to me for web design clients, and they're not just realtors, all businesses. So you guys don't have a lock on it. But what happens so often is, you know, they say, okay, I've got to have a website. I need to, you know, I've got my social media platforms I need to start creating content for, but let's get the website out of the way. And so, yeah, okay, here's a bio. You know, I've been in the real estate business for 20 years and I worked at this beforehand and I do this and I do that and blah, blah, blah. Here's my bio. Okay, check. I got that off. Fill in the blanks. But the problem is, and then the other thing I hear all the time is people go, well, you know, I have a website and it really doesn't do anything for me. And my question is, does it do anything for you because you don't say anything of any importance on there? Did you not use any, does your content not evoke any kind of Interest, is it boring and dull? Or are you just, are you ignoring the content and using it and not using it where you should to promote things? So we kind of overlook the mission statement, and we overlook the content that we create for our brand. And by that, I mean our everything, including our social media, our website, blog, videos, emails, that all falls into the category of content that we need to create. So that's what we want to talk about here and kind of give you some ideas. So let me go ahead and get my screen share going. And by the way, at the end, on the link where the replay is, there will be a questionnaire that you can download there. It's a form that I give to my web clients because I want to get a feel for, number one, the content I need to help them create. Number two, get a feel for what their business is about. So I'm going to refer to that, but keep in mind that's going to be available once you exit the webinar. It's actually on that page already. It's a download for a content checklist. So keep that in mind, so that a lot of these things will cover there as well. But your mission statement, that's really where you start. But the beginning, and as we've talked about many times before, good content starts with knowing your audience and knowing your demographics. So we need to know how to talk to the people we're going to talk to, what motivates them, what moves them, what gets them out of bed in the morning, what are they passionate about doing. All of those things are things that we need to consider before we start really creating anything. But when you talk about your mission statement, your mission is your why. Clients want to buy why you do something, not because you do something, but they want to buy from you because you have a passion, because you have a message that they feel that they can relate to, or that they feel comfortable with. So creating that why statement is one of the things that, and I've resisted using that for many years, and mainly because I have my own reasons, but they seem to overlook it. And people build their dream boards and they build their why statements and all that, but they never put any action to it. So the mission statement in this particular case needs to be an actionable statement. It needs to be something that you create, and then it's something you live by. It's not something you dream will happen. This is what you're going to live by. And that's why it's so important. The other side of that is the what, and that's your vision statement. So we're going to kind of roll those two together. But the vision is why you do it. The vision is what you do to reach that why. So keep that in mind as we go through this. And then lastly, it's customer focus. And again, if you've heard anything I've said in any of the previous webinars, I'm big on customer focused. So it's, I had a client that does debt collections. So he's not an attorney, but he does debt collections for companies. So it's if your company is owed by a customer so much money, well he would handle the debt collection. And so he had a video that he created, and I knew the videographer, and he was a friend of mine, and so we were working together on it. But he said, take a look at my video and tell me what you think. And so I watched his video, and it was very professional. He's in his suit and tie. He's got the big mahogany desk in front of him. He's got the lawyer bookcases behind him full of books. And he starts off his whole minute and a half video is, I provide you exemplary service and help you generate return on your investment that saves you time and trouble and energy, and we put our knowledge and expertise into helping you solve your problems, and blah, 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 for a minute. And he said, so what do you think? And I said, it's a great video. Got one question for you though. What do you do? And I knew what he did, obviously, but what do you do? And he said, well, and he watched the video again, and he said, not one place in there do I say what my business is. I could be a plumber. I could be a travel agent. I could be a doctor. I could, I could drive a truck. None of those, all of those statements that he said fit within the framework of any particular business you wanted, but it didn't say anything about him. And that's why I say you really need to focus in on your mission statement being about what you do for your client. How do you serve them and meet your passion? Make sure it's something that you believe in yourself and practice every day. Because if you don't, and if you create something flowery and something that you think people want to hear, but you don't live it, don't you think your clients are going to be able to tell? So that should be a forefront of your values and your principles. The keys to a good mission statement. You want to connect your purpose. So again, tie into the things that you are passionate about, the things that you care about. You want to go over what makes you unique. And we talked about that, and we've talked about that a couple of times. We talked about it in the LinkedIn profile. We also talked about it in the class on email marketing. So can everybody else can hear me? I assume, Rosa, you said you're not able to hear the sound. If anybody else is having trouble with sound, let me know. But I don't think anything's changed. So, okay. I'll go on unless you guys, Samantha, Brenda, or you hear something. If you're not hearing anything, let me know. Page one of the three. Combine your own personal mission statement with that of your clients. So how do you help your clients, and how does that fit in with your personal mission? So those are the things that you really want to do. Okay, cool. Rosa, check your settings or speakers. Maybe your speakers are turned off. For some reason, everybody else is getting the sound. So just to check your speakers and make sure they're turned on. Oh, well, she can't hear sound. That doesn't make any sense, does it? Samantha, message her and tell Rosa to check her speakers. So the other thing the mission statement does is you want to tell who you are, why you serve the people you serve, and what gets you out of bed in the morning. This is really where you're trying to, this is really where you connect with your customers, your clients. So kind of about you, a little bit about what you do. You want to, the folks you want to serve, buyers and sellers, investors, relocations, whatever it might be. And, and I love working with my real estate clients because every day is exciting, and and it's a new challenge, and that's what gets me motivated every time. So that's really the key to your mission statement. What makes you unique? The first thing I want you to do is list your strengths, your assets, and your skills. List the things that you do well. And this is a hard list to do. Believe me, I understand it, because we always look at it like, well, I don't want to be boastful and I don't want to be bragging, but we need to know, are you good at negotiation? Are you a good communicator? Do you solve problems? Are you able to maintain a calm demeanor when problems happen, when situations happen? What are the things that you do well? Make that list, because this is really where you should key your mission statement around that proposition of things that you do and the things that you do well. And of that list, once you have that list, and be as extensive as you can, if it's, years of experience, understanding market conditions, knowing how to convey information. What do you do about walking your prospective client or your client through a process? How do you educate them on the process? Those are all strengths that we have, and we need to utilize those. And then take those strengths and then identify the top 5. So put down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Which ones are the most important skills that you have, the biggest strengths that you have? And that's what you should be utilizing in your mission statement and in other content that you use as well. What do you do better or different than your competition? And I know we're realtors, right? And so it's like, okay, we all do the same thing. You know, we all help people buy and sell houses. But if that's the case, why are there folks that are making millions of dollars every year in real estate, and there are others that are struggling just to try to make ends meet? If we're all the same, right? We all do everything the same way. But you see, we don't. Everybody has their strengths. Everybody understands those strengths. They build on those strengths. So keep in mind what makes you different, what makes you better. And yes, I know there's going to be, with 6,000 realtors, there's going to be other people that do things the same way. Got that. I understand it. But the way you convey that message helps to differentiate you from everyone else. And on the flip side of that, what are the top dogs that you see and know? What did they do that you don't? Now, maybe it's a matter of having the money to do advertising with, or, you know, maybe it's a larger team or whatever it might be, but how did they get there and what are they doing that you're not? And then how can you develop that skill, that asset, that strength, and make it work for you? What's your passion? What's your purpose? We've talked about that already. So this is definitely a piece that you want to identify, because that's, again, it's such an important part to be able to share that passion and share that purpose in your message. And and I'm not talking about, you know, spelling out that this is my passion. Your message, if you craft your mission statement and all the content you create, if you create that in the right way, you're going to tell people that you're passionate about something. They're going to know what your passions, what your purposes are. So when you create your mission statement, you write as much as you can. So write as much information as you can write. Don't worry about trying to keep it concise at the time, because as for me, as I write more and create, and I'm in the process of doing this creation exercise, then I start getting inspired. I start getting other things come to mind. Whereas if I'm aiming to put together a single sentence, then I may miss parts that are really important and really have a really touch on what I want to do. So write as much as you can, and then go through and get rid of anything that's non-essential. So then take out anything that is fluff, that's not appropriate or not essential, that doesn't fit what we're trying to do. So you can always scale it back. Start with a lot, work your way down, and then ask these key questions. Is my mission statement memorable? We want to be able to leave that message with somebody that they understand and go, oh yeah, that's the person that says they, provide, excellence in real estate, or they provide, for your forever home, whatever it might be. Is it something that's brandable? So does it meet all the criteria of your brand? Does it meet your mission? Does it meet your passion? Does it have the color? Does it have the logos? Does it have all the things that you need for your brand? And does it excite you? If it doesn't excite you, do you think it's going to excite somebody that's reading it? Of course not. So you want to make it so it's not just, we're not trying to, create a dull, something dull, or, we want to make sure that it's got some passion, it's got some interest to it, and it's excitement to it. The other thing I want to touch on, so that's kind of the keys to your mission statement, but the next thing I really want to cover is frequently asked questions, because we tend to overlook these as well. And a lot of people have, they may put some questions on their website, but if you think about your potential clients as in a phase of, for example, of awareness. So they're just trying to do research right now. What they want to do is find out more information about real estate. People don't want to look stupid. And that's what happens in the initial phases. They're like, oh, I really want to buy, ready to buy a house, but do I need to talk to a realtor first? Do I need to talk to a lender? Do I go hunting for myself? And then, do I look at the online sites? How do I, what does it mean when it talks about, the interest rate, or how do I find out what that would be? People want to find out information. They don't want to look silly. And so they do their inquiry in the beginning. And so these questions prove that you're the expert in the industry. So by answering these questions, or answering the questions that they tend to ask, it proves your expertise. It lets people know that you're the person to go to ask those questions. You guide them through the awareness phase. You get them from the phase of research to the phase of taking action, of decision. And that's really where you want them to be, because it's in that stage that they're going to start zeroing in on who gave us the right information, who do we trust to take us through this journey, and is that person you? And then the other thing that FAQs can do is they can connect you through a search. And I mentioned the voice search devices. I won't mention the A word that we all know, because if I do, she'll wake up in the back and start talking. But we ask those questions to our virtual search devices because we're trying to find information. So how do you get found in there? What if your answer, what if one of the questions somebody asks is, should I go to a lender first, or should I go to a realtor? And then all of a sudden, in the great internet sphere, whoever the connector is out there, whether it be Google, whether it be Amazon or Bing or whatever it might be, finds a question that says, should I contact a realtor first or a lender? And they find that on your website, or they find that in a blog that you post. And it goes, hey, look, here's the question asked. Here's an answer. Let me match those two up. There's a huge possibilities of that. So the more questions that you can provide, the more answers you can provide in the form of question, and you answered it, the much more likelihood of you being found through search as well. So keep those FAQs in mind. They're really important. So you want to think about buyer questions. What are questions the buyers are asking? Again, should I talk to a lender or a real estate agent first? Do I need to get, do I need a home inspection? Am I supposed to, how long does it take once I make an offer, or once I find a home to close? Because I'm renting and I need to figure out, how to get out of my rent. Have a list of buyers' questions. Have a list of sellers' questions. What do you do for marketing? Do you do open houses? Do you provide, are open houses effective? Do you mail to neighborhood areas? Do you market in particular, what areas have the best school districts? So questions that sellers may ask are all important for you to have on there. Homeowners questions are another point. This is really keeping you in touch with your existing clientele or past clientele, because if you can be a resource for homeowners, if I have a dispute with a homeowners association, how do I handle that? Are there things I should do from a maintenance standpoint? How do I understand real estate taxes, and my escrow? How do I understand what the escrow is? All of those things are questions that homeowners may ask, especially new ones. So keep the frequently asked questions in mind. Those are really powerful and have a real value. And then the last thing I want to talk about is just creating a story. you know, we tend to, we can all create good I mean, we can all tell, you know, who we are, what we do. But the more important aspect of that is really telling a story. Um, Storytelling is just a marketing strategy that combines all of your all the different pieces to your digital marketing plan. It's text, so it's your blog, your website, it's video, it's social media, it's email. All of those are pieces of the whole theme. And a story can be wrapped around you. It can be wrapped around your listing, your agency, the things that are happening. They're extremely powerful because they engage. They get caught up in the stories and they can engage, and it generates emotion. So it's that emotion that we're trying to reach. And once you get someone to an emotion, to buy in emotionally to you, the sale is pretty much assured that it's going to be yours because they bought in. It makes you more authentic, and it's a much more effective form of advertising than any other marketing you can do. So, and then in essence, every sale that you do starts with a story. You know, buyers start by imagining what it'd be like to move, you know, and so as they get closer, do they want to move closer to work? Do they want to be closer to family? Do they want to be closer to schools? Is there a particular neighborhood that they found that they really think would be great for them? You know, are they newlyweds starting out? Are they seniors that may be downsizing? Everybody has a story. And so we want to try to tap into how do we take that story and then we become a part of it as their realtor. So you can write the ending of the story by being, you know, as their realtor. So really, you know, if you think about it, it's an idea of trying to paint a picture. And we do that already, and we don't realize it. But when you're talking to somebody about a home and you're walking them through a home, aren't we telling a story? Aren't we painting a picture? Can't you imagine sitting out here on this deck watching the beautiful sunset? Can't you, you know, of course now can't you imagine sitting out on the deck, you know, fanning the smoke as it wafts through your patio? But we paint a picture, right? We paint a picture of the kitchen. We paint a picture of imagining the kids growing up here, imagining the entertaining you can do. All of those things are pieces that we're trying to convey. And so we already are storytellers. We just need to learn how to harness that in all different aspects of what we're doing. So some strategies for storytelling. You want to draw attention to your brand that leaves people wanting more. So keep in mind, you're trying to promote who you are. You're trying to promote your brand, but you want to do it in such a way that people go, this is really the person that I want to hear more from, because they're, you know, I like what they say. I like the ideas that they're giving me. And so you want to leave them wanting more information. You think about your target audiences and create a story that would inspire or entertain them. You know, I've used that term before, the infotainment. So we want to educate people, or the edutainment, I should say. We want to educate people, but we also want to entertain them. So we keep their attention by creating something that would have that educational value as well. And then focus on the most important things and tell stories around those. You know, in old school marketing, I mean, we would be bold and try to throw our message at people. We would try to push our message to buy. You know, we would harp on features and try to do the feature benefit thing. But we've sort of moved away from that now because people have caught on to the hard sell type approaches, to the really salesy techniques. And that's why these, thinking in terms of others as human beings, it becomes a whole lot more personable, and our message really sets a whole lot easier. And when we find that connection point to our audience. So how can we serve their interests? That's really what we're trying to do. So you want to make sure you tell your brand story through interactions, through the promises that you make, through logos, colors, social media posts. All of those are part of your brand story. What you do and how do you serve your client, right? So a story can be about a first-time home buyer that you were able to work out with them a new home that they thought they weren't going to be able to get, or you solved a problem that was going to potentially cause them to not be able to get the home they wanted. And that story then becomes something that we can relate to. And it again, it's your interaction. So that story can be part of a blog article. It can be part of social media posts. It can be a video. All of those things combined. The community story highlights people and places around a home. So having that connection to things that are around, you know as well as I that we buy not just a home, but we buy the area. So a beautiful home in a crappy neighborhood, it's going to be a hard sell. And then to get the pricing you want. But if you incorporate the community around that home, now your sale is a whole lot easier. So we think about that in terms of, what is the community like around that? Are there, local parks? Are there, what are the schools like? What are the restaurants in the neighborhoods like? So incorporating those community story highlights is important. And then you want to connect on a personal level. And I know this is something you have to make a call on, because, how much of your personal life do you want to allow people to invade? I mean, that's really the question we're asking. So for me, if you connect with me in my business page on, my 800 Biz Ninja marketing page on Facebook, or my personal page, either one, you're going to see business information, but you're also going to see, you may see a picture of me floating in the pool, or playing with the dogs, or playing with the grandkids. That's all who I am on a personal level. And I understand people want to deal with people. They don't want to deal with a company. You're not a Zillow or a Trulia or a Redfin, or, something where they don't know who they're talking about. So that's why, that with that issue in mind, you want to keep things personal. So again, somebody else has got no problem with sound. Okay. If anybody, let's see here, can you hear me? So, yep, I don't know if something's cutting out or.
I can hear you perfectly. So
Okay.
I'm not real.
Okay.
Does it make sense?
Yeah. So it may be something there may be something. All right. Just don't make sure I'm not, my mic didn't get turned off here, or somebody's censoring me on some end here.
Well, I
So
think if it
connecting on the
cuts out-
personal level.
Yeah, if
Yeah.
it cuts out, it's different. But if they went on without audio, then that's
Okay.
you have to go out and come back in, I think.
Brenda, message Ludi and tell her to check and make sure her speakers are on,
Okay.
just to see. Okay, so connection on the personal level. Yeah, you have to decide. The how much personality you want to plug into it, but that's a key piece. So the question was asked: how often do you recommend it be changed? Your mission statement should only change if there's something about your passion, your purpose, your principles that change. For me, my mission statement really has not changed, because I do, my mission is working with small business owners to help them achieve their online return on investment and goal. So my mission statement hasn't changed, but yours may. I mean, again, situations do change. It should be portable enough that it should flow, but by the same purpose, Your mission statement shouldn't change weekly, because if you're changing your mission statement on a frequent basis, then there's something wrong with your mission. I mean, we're bouncing around and we're not, settling. So it's a great place to start. If you find that your mission has changed and adapted, then by all means do change it. But that was a great question, Catherine. Thanks. Let's see here. The other thing about stories is it can help you build your sphere of influence. So what really happens is we're trying to tap that audience that doesn't know who we are. So people read and share and generally engage more with any type of content when it surfaces through a friend or people they know and trust. You put out your story, it's out there, and friends start to share or engage with it. That opens it up to other people seeing that and sharing, and that's where you begin to see that sphere of influence grow. And that's really what we want to do. I mean, that's why we're trying to expand that, so that we open ourselves up to new markets that we haven't tapped before. So that's why your sphere of influence is so important. Let's talk about telling a story that sells. So plan your story. What are you going to try to accomplish? What's the goal of the story? Who are you trying to reach with it? So you start by the plan. The next thing you want to do is incorporate your call to action. Now, by call to action, I never recommend being a used car salesman or, a Sam Levitt salesman about, hey, what can I do to get you in this today? We got a special going on. No, that's not what I'm talking about when I mean call to actions. Call to actions are the introduction to take action. Never assume that your audience knows what to do with something you're sharing. So tell them, if you like this information, or if you know somebody, feel free to share this. Reach out to me if you have questions about anything related to the real estate process. You can call or text, or reach out to me. Leave the call to action open. Always tell people what you want them to do, but you do it in just kind of an offhanded way. It's sort of casual. It's like, if you're interested, give me a call and I'll be glad to help you. And you're implying, if not, that's okay too. So we never want to get pushy, but we always want to have a call to action. You want to sketch out a draft, and then you want to edit that draft. So that should be, again, that creative process should be, how does that story going to play out? And a story can be, it doesn't have to play out in one scene. You could do, if the story you create requires more than one episode, if you will. So do it in pieces and share it on social media, on Instagram, on Facebook. Share it as multiple posts in your blog, so that you keep people watching for the next volume of the next episode. A cool way to do that. I mean, that's one of the things. So when you have that draft, now you may have more room, and then you can edit and plan that out so that it goes the way you want it to go. And then promote it. Promote your story to your website, blog, email, social media, all the different platforms. Repurpose it wherever it's possible. Again, we're just trying to reach, as many people as we can with the information that we're wanting to share. Some of the most effective real estate stories, the listing stories. You already know that one. That's, what are the most valuable features? But put it, rather than just say, look at this kitchen, it's newly remodeled, isn't it? Isn't it lovely? Okay, that's what everybody else would say too. But look at this kitchen. Can't you imagine the dinner parties or the family gatherings sitting around this island, as you're, sharing, sharing the experience of cooking, or, creating something with your kids or grandkids or family. Look at the the beautiful entertainment space that you have out back with this. And, imagine sitting out here with, with a glass of wine, looking out over the scenery and enjoying the mountain views or whatever it might be. So what we're trying to do is we're just going to take what you're already doing with your virtual tours or with your walkthroughs, and you're turning it into a story that engages emotion and engages the senses. Because as soon as you get them to they start imagining the features and seeing themselves in that spot, the much more powerful it's going to be, and the easier it is for you to land them as a client or close them and make them happy, so that they write you reviews and tell people how great you are. A front to back, that can be a walkthrough of everything of the home, front to back. So that's another way to do that. Tell a story about the neighborhood. Walk through the neighborhood. Look at it. This is a Saturday morning view of the neighborhood. Look at all the folks that are walking, and the families and the kids riding their bicycles, and look at the how active the park is. This is a lovely park tied to this neighborhood. We're 5 minutes away from this lovely coffee shop or restaurant. So the neighborhood story is again a piece of that listing. Personal stories. So again, doesn't have to, this is similar to the neighborhood story in the fact that you're talking about businesses, restaurants, coffee shops, family time, sporting events. Those are all things that the personal story tell, but it's from your standpoint, not from hey, buy this home because, you can, because I'm going to give you free tickets to the U of A game or whatever. That's different. That's a whole different ballgame. It's all about your personality and interjecting it in there. And again, that's why you go see photos of me floating in the pool with a glass of wine or playing with the grandkids. That's my story. My story is I'm a businessman, but I'm also a grandfather and a husband. And, you got any of those that might be following me on Facebook know it. This last Friday was an anniversary, 44 years. Yeah. Sorry, I had to think for a minute. 44-year anniversary for us. So, so I posted pictures of the, dinner and the wine and the dessert and, all the things we were doing. So I don't ever post anything that I'm ashamed to post, but people need to know who I am. And that's the same way with you. You're in a personal business. They're not interested in dealing with a corporate stiff. They want to deal with you. They want to deal with you personally. And if they're comfortable with you, then that's the whole goal. And you've done your job properly. Brand stories. So do an about me video. Really cool idea would be your journey in real estate. How did you move? How did you get into real estate? Where did you start? How did you get here? What brought you through that? What your passion is? Why you stay in real estate? That story is powerful. So keep that in mind. And then same way with testimonials. Those are always great. And then the community stories, invite the client into the life, into the home surroundings. So again, take them on that tour of the area and let them fall in love with the community as much as they fall in love with the house. And then one final thing, as far as when we're talking about the story aspect of it is, and this is anything to do with your content, whatever you do, don't be boring. Don't let the works on your page hide the personality behind your organization. Personality. Make sure you can create something that is exciting. But if you're not sure, hey, create it and then run it by a few people. Run it by a colleague or a friend and say, hey, what do you think about this? But you want, if it's boring and you're going to put somebody, you put the reader to sleep, then you're not going to do a very good job of getting them on your site when it comes to buy. So Final tip, whatever you do, don't be boring. Just make sure you put your personality and your interest into that. Let me see here. If I slide this over on the screen, can you see that? Yeah. Okay. So this is the worksheet that I'm going to be offering if you guys want it. It is designed for website content, but it works for everything. And you'll see the questions on here, what your target audience, your strengths and assets, how are you different from your competition, describe your business as if you were giving a 1-minute commercial. That's challenging for people to do a lot of times. I do a lot of networking, and sometimes, you know, it's hard to do, but you need to get a message across in a quick time frame. And so that's really where this mission statement really comes into play. So Catherine, it's going to be on the download page. I mean, it's going to be on the page with the video. As soon as the video, when this webinar ends, there'll be a link on there to download this. So all you have to do is click on the download. Your passion and purpose, 3 things you want visitors to know. What actions do you want people to take? It's about a 4 or 5 page document. Some of it may not pertain to you, but utilize whatever does. And hopefully this will give you some good information. So that's what you'll have at the end. If you, like I said, just go to the website at the end, and you'll be able to download that as soon as even before the video is posted. It's already in there now. So if you need my help, here is how you get in touch with me. While I'm doing that, let me go ahead and put the poll up here, because I want to get some information from you about upcoming topics that you may want to see, either revisit some of the things we've already done or new topics. So I'm going to go ahead and put that poll up here now. And if you guys want to take a second to answer that, I would appreciate that. It'll help us decide, you know, where we want to go in the future. Anybody have any questions? Anything that comes to mind that you want me to cover or go back over? I'll be happy to touch on that for you. Next week's topic, we're going to talk about YouTube, and we're going to talk about video. So it's, I know in past weeks when I put this up, or previous times, video is always a topic that is really interesting for people to, and I had someone talk to, yes, Rita, as a matter of fact, Rita asked about if we were going to do videos. So yes, next week we're going to be talking about YouTube. How do you create a YouTube channel? How do you utilize YouTube? How do you upload videos to YouTube? Yeah, I do. One of the things I do, Catherine, is that's probably 50–60% of my business is websites. And I've done several real estate websites. And so what I do is give you your personalized website that then helps you to connect to your, it ties into your company website. And the other cool thing about that is, because we're talking to not to particular agency, the importance of having a website on your own is the fact that what happens if you leave? If you leave the company you're with, that website goes away. But if you have your own website, you pick it up and take it with you wherever you go. You can tie it in, utilize the brokerage websites are great because they give you a lot of information, a lot of things you can do, but they're short on certain things. One of the things being getting you found online better. So yes, I do websites. So that's something. If you're interested, you can reach out to me, and I'll be happy to give you talk with you about it. So feel free. Yep, I do the website design, I do the hosting, I do the maintenance, I do the integration into social media. I'll do newsletters. I'll work with people on their email marketing list. So if it's digital and brand marketing and anything like that, I do it. So thanks.
And a little plug for you, Gary, being local and small, and definitely real estate tuned in is very hard to find. So his prices are amazing. He's extremely endorsed by Pioneer, and we're very picky about our partners. So he's more than fair and always readily available to help all of us.
Thanks. Yep. Yeah. I mean, the question was asked about funnels. Funnels are an interesting, they're an interesting thing, but yes, that really is a function that's really exploded as in popularity lately, but it's really a funnel is really just a sales cycle. It's just understanding the sales cycle and how do you get people to, how do you get people engaged in each aspect of the sales cycle and move them from the awareness phase all the way down to the decision-making phase. So yeah, and that's there are things in funnels, things like landing pages and the email marketing are two of the prime features of funnels. So yep, those are been doing a lot of that with one of the particular email marketing sources that I use. So, all right. So looks like everybody's got the chance to vote they could. So I'm going to go ahead and end the poll and stop the share. If anybody has any other questions, feel free to reach out to me. You've got my information, anything I can do to help. And hopefully that was good information for you. Hope that helped. So ladies, anything else to share?
Oh, thank you very much.
Yep, I have some homework to do.
And next week will be real exciting with the videos. Yay.
Yes.
Yeah, videos are fun. That's always a fun one to do because there are so many aspects of video, and it's such a there are challenges because people are hesitant to get in front of the camera. I understand that. There are, you know, I don't like the way I sound. I don't like the way I look. I don't know what to say. What am I going to do? But once you get involved with once you really get the hang of video, it's probably one of the most effective tools you should have in your arsenal.
And we have to keep a blooper reel as we get started.
Absolutely. Why not? That's what's fun about it, you know?
Yeah.
So,
That's fun.
all right. Anyone else have any questions?
Looks like we're good.
Thank you guys for coming. We will look for you next week on the video webinar, and we will see you then.
Thank you, Gary.
Thank you guys.